You're born in 1988 in Burkina Faso, right as the world is shaking off Cold War shadows. Not in a palace, not on a battlefield, just a small, quiet village. Your early life is grounded, simple schooling, though from the start, folks whisper that you're sharp, maybe too sharp for your own good. Your teachers call you quiet and very talented. You nod, smile, and you keep going. You always defended your classmates when they get into disputes, showing your courage from an early age. School's a grind. It's in the academy where you shine. You join the Association of Muslim Students and the Marxist National Association of Students of Burkina Faso. You graduate in 2006 with your baccalaureate. 3 years later, you're in university studying geology. Once again, you graduate with honors, and at this point, you are ready to swap books for boots. You join the army right after. They send you to a military academy, and your intelligence pays off. You're tapped for anti-aircraft training in Morocco. Just a few years later, you're promoted to lieutenant, excelling as you fight in Mali with the UN peacekeeping mission, which eventually led you to being cited as one of the soldiers who showed courage during major rebel operations. Back home, the insurgency is raging. Your country beats like a wounded drum, food shortages, violent jihadi groups, hungry soldiers in the north, abandoned by pay, abandoned by politics. You decide to head back home to join the fight. You fight hard in countless counterinsurgency operations in the country's north. You're out there, in the front line, dirt under your nails, anger in your heart. By 2020, you've risen to captain, but your country's leadership grows more corrupt by the day. The military is very unequipped. People are dying of starvation, and overall the country's just not in a good state. All these while politicians are handing out suitcases of money for bribery. You gradually become the spokesman for soldiers stationed in the north who were frustrated over the government. And here's where everything snaps. January 2022. Your military backs a coup that topples a civilian government. For months, you serve as the head of the artillery regiment in Kaya. However, many supporters of the January coup are becoming dissatisfied with the performance of Paul-Henri Damiba, the junta's leader, regarding his inability to contain the jihadist insurgency. You and your fellow soldiers try to get Damiba to refocus on the rebellion, but for some reason, he doesn't. The dissatisfaction about the situation is highest among younger officers who fought against the rebels at the front lines. At this point, a coup plot is being made to overthrow Damiba, and by 30th September 2022, the coup plot is underway. You are now chosen as the new head of the Patriotic Movement for Safeguard and Restoration. By 6th October, you assume position of interim president as head of state and supreme head of the armed forces. You are now the youngest head of state in the world. You rise to power in Burkina Faso at a time when your nation is caught between insurgency, foreign influence, and the hopes of a restless people. From the start, your path is clear. You want to break from the old order. You look beyond your borders. Mali, your neighbor, is under military leadership just like you. Guinea too. You speak of unity, not just friendship, a federation, a bond strong enough to defy the world's expectations. By 2024, that vision becomes reality, when the three of you stand together and form the Alliance of Sahel States, a military pact, a political shield, and perhaps the seed of something greater. But unity with Africa means breaking away from dependence on France. Their soldiers have long fought in your land, but their presence weighs heavily. You decide enough is enough. You order French troops to leave. The world watches, but you don't flinch. We want win-win partnerships, you say. It's not just about expelling France, it's about opening Burkina Faso to new horizons. Turkey, Russia, partners who respect strength. Your country is very rich in gold, but for decades, it has left your soil unrefined, enriching others more than your own people. But under your leadership, that begins to change. Your Council of Ministers approves the construction of the first gold refinery in the nation's history. No longer will Burkina Faso be just a source of raw gold for foreign hands. From now on, gold will be refined at home. The refinery promises 100 direct jobs, thousands more indirect ones, and the ability to produce 400 kilograms of gold every single day. A step toward sovereignty, a step toward wealth kept, not stolen. Sometime later, a presidential decree seals your boldest move yet. 5 more assets, 2 mines, 3 exploration licenses pass into Sopamibi's control. With that, you push Burkina Faso higher on the ladder of power, securing its place as Africa's 4th largest gold producer. However, from the very first days of your rule, war defines your presidency. The Islamist insurgency bleeds your country, and you know survival depends on mobilization. Within your first month, you launch a massive campaign. 50,000 new recruits join the volunteers for the defense of the homeland. ordinary citizens turned into an auxiliary force. You go further, a general mobilization is declared. Every Burkinabe is called to the cause. Rebel attacks grow fiercer, but your words remain unyielding. No negotiations until the insurgency is broken. Victory, you insist, must be absolute, yet the toll of war deepens. By February 2024, deaths from jihadist violence have risen sharply since you came to power. Experts and rights groups say the violence is worse. You press on, undeterred, believing only force can restore the land. Months later, you call on the people once more. Not to fight, but to dig. Trenches, you say, it must surround towns and villages to shield them from attacks. Civilians take up shovels beside soldiers. Then, Western media. You might have expected fair coverage, but instead they paint you as a dictator, authoritarian thug. Sometimes AI videos go viral, showing you doing ridiculous things. You fight back. On state TV, you call them propaganda merchants. You accuse Western rights groups of pushing lies. But some clips are even AI-generated fabrications. Like a fake speech, they turned into best speech of the 21st century. You're shaking your head at how fast deepfakes spread. Yet your image sells. Some across Africa call you the new Thomas Sankara, praising your revolutionary tone. Some see hope, others fear autocracy. The security situation worsens. Conflict deaths triple. More than 60% of your country outside your regime's control. Millions displaced. Analysts worry as elections are pushed to 2029. But look, behind the images, the chaos, the battles, you're a human in a heavy uniform trying to steer a fragile ship through storms. You wake up, tie your shoelaces, and you keep going without any hesitation. Your life as Ibrahim Traoré is a war fought on every front. Taxes, trenches, recruits, and sacrifice. To your people, you promise liberation. To your enemies, you promise no mercy. But the cost of that promise weighs heavier with each passing day. Thanks for watching. Like the video if you made it this far and consider subscribing to the channel. And I'll see you next time.